So, Kiran, what is the Tao?
Hmm. Tao is the way life works, and I'm seeing from my own journey, perhaps it could also be said to be the way of love. Um, Utterly simple, and yet not always easy to access. Something that's present right here and yet invisible from view. That which is alive inside everything that is visible and yet hidden from view. All problems, challenges, conflicts are because we project onto the other, right? So, in other words, we can say we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. A child learns that to survive in the world, okay, he or she needs to put on a certain kind of a mask, right, to fit in, to blend in. Otherwise it becomes very uneasy, difficult to live or survive in the world. And in Latin, the mask is called persona, from where the word personality comes, right? So, I mean, and essentially the persona helps you to look good, to survive, essentially survive, even dominate. You dominate to survive. You know, either you become submissive or offensive, various ways to survive, and
Be accepted.
and be accepted.
It doesn't have to be. It has to be the way it has to be.
Yeah, now you're questioning. In fact, somebody said that the decision to listen is the decision to love. And it's true that you're speaking, you said 5%, because maybe you were not listening. Yeah? Because the quality of speaking shifts if you deeply listen. Yeah?
So, Nikhil, you've been to several Taos. What's your experience been generally and each time?
So generally what I feel is the essence of all these Tao programs are pretty much the same, in the sense that the basic essence is things coming together. That is the basic essence, and how they come together and how life's creative potential expresses at that moment, and picking up on that. That is the essence of the Tao. And even if you go to the original teachings of the Tao teaching, it's all about getting actualized, being open, being embracing things as they are. So it pretty much is in the same spirit. So I've been to the different themes. The first one was facilitation, the next one was coaching, the other one was like coming home, and this one is about love. So the themes may give a different flavor, and of course it also depends on everybody is co-creating just by their mere presence. Everybody is adding a flavor to it. So it's not just the theme that gives the varying flavor, it's the different people and how we all come together that gives it a slightly different flavor to it. But in essence, it's pretty much the same.
And do you see how has it impacted your life? What are some of the changes that it's brought about in your life?
Oh, it's impacted my life in a lot. For example, there was a time when I was really full on, and there was a lot of angst and all these kind of things. So when I just let that flourish and flower with me, that was very, very helpful. Like even my peers and colleagues used to say, man, after you go to one of these things, you're like much calmer than usual and stuff like that. So it's catalyzed a lot of different journeys as well, and gone into depth and made a lot of peace with myself, and definitely a very powerful catalyst.
Amazing.
But what else is there?
Silence. Presence.
Huh?
Silence.
Presence. presence. See, your presence
Respect.
is very much expressed through listening and speaking. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm talking of a distinct skill.
Oh yeah, he said respect and I'll add honoring.
Question
Yeah,
is
respect.
quality.
Your respect,
Quality.
honoring is all demonstrated through how you listen and how you speak.
Quality.
Right?
Is it silence?
Yeah. Silence. Silence is an important dimension of communication, which is distinct. Do you see that? And often we don't notice it, right? So silence. And there is one more skill, which is again not so obvious. Observe this interaction, right? We are all listening, speaking.
Learning.
Also there is a pause. But is there some other skill that I'm using?
Observing.
Yes, observation is again the ground of awareness, and that's a vital
She
skill.
said learning.
Yeah, wait. Yeah. So what else is happening right now in
Creating.
Questioning.
questioning?
Why?
Yeah. Why is questioning an important skill?
Because it's an invitation.
It's an invitation, and what is it doing?
Makes the other person think.
It is evoking,
Opening.
right? Because like somebody said, you can tell people what they need to know very fast, they will forget it even faster. Yeah? I think it resonates particularly
Oh, yeah.
with you. Yeah? Now,
And it's
thank
been
you.
both ways. I've told people and they've forgotten, and I've forgotten even faster.
We'll forget that.
Yeah. So these are the perils of speed also, we were talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let me complete that. You can tell people what they need to know very fast, they forget it even faster. People are more likely to remember, practice, own and implement what you help them to figure out for themselves, rather than what you figure out for them. Spoon feeding. You know, why do leaders often say, I've told them 100 times, but you know, has the communication landed? It lands better when it's evoked. I mean, it was far easier for me to say, like, look, there are these 4 skills, you know, listening, speaking, questioning, silence. But the way it sits with you now, because it is co-created, it has emerged, and it has meant some churning, thinking, you know, is very different. Do you get
So I have to step to what I'm doing, or I have to be aware to that. So that's why I did it.
That's quite a sweetheart. But we'll do it together. We'll all do it. So let's just take the first step. The first is paraphrasing. Yeah, acknowledging. You understand paraphrasing? Paraphrase means to rephrase what he has said, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just in a
So
brief
actually,
way.
one thing about the Tao is that it requires you to listen to life. And often in our busyness, we miss out on that silent music that is playing beneath everything that is visible. As difficult as it has been for me to slow down as I rest more and more in my being, which is what this work is about, that music is somehow more audible, palpable.
Okay, we are doing this.
Yeah.
We are blaming ourselves,
Okay.
right? And if we are not blaming ourselves, then yeah. But somewhere we are blaming, right? The place to shift into from blame is into wonder. And you know what's the wonder? When there is a chronic situation that is not resolved, the key wonder is, what am I not seeing? What am I not learning in this situation? right? Because when that lesson is complete, that situation will disappear.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Right?
So Arjun, how was your experience of the Tao?
It's quite nice. For me, I able to see certain things that I didn't discover in myself. For me, even the little bit of dance, like I think it was something that surprised me. Like, and I had never seen myself uh, involving in something like a dance the way I did, and it just opened up something to me, something in me that what are the other areas where that can be expressed, that I can involve and get lost completely, and just be myself. And yeah, it was great, and also the times that we spent like in outside the session also, like there was a lot of value inside the session, and the brief conversations during lunch, dinner, and even the walks which we took. It was in a way like mirroring something.
You've known Kiran for a while. What do you think is the one thing that he brings forth in these programs that really helps shape the program?
I think it's the magic of the whole Tao is the way he facilitates it without being like, it won't be felt that he is the one who is guiding it or facilitating it. Though his presence is holding it the whole together, he don't like put himself into it. So a space is naturally created by the people who are there and the sharings and what they're going through, and also he gives a space, like each one tends to be a facilitator at different point of time. So I think the highlight is that, like, I've never seen someone facilitate in such a way that it's just about holding the space without being into it. The presence that's speaking. So, yeah.
It's supposed to tell me about my soul.
It's telling you, soul is a big word, but like about your life journey, what are some of the gifts you bring, and what are some of the challenges that you will encounter. For example, the Aries North Node is essentially a node where you find it easier to give than to receive.
So, how was this given birth to? What was the genesis of this?
You mean my journey and the Tao?
And the Tao, yeah.
With the Tao.
Yeah.
It's interesting, when I actually left the corporate world, there was a very clear call to dive into this whole field of the immensity of the human being and how we were living only a fraction of the lives we were given. So, not only when I actually went in to conduct this program, it was like I felt I had come home. But very soon, in the first few months, I got this opportunity to not work at any odd program when I was all of 32 years old in '96. But I got to work very soon with a program which was to develop trainers, people who were doing this work. And that was a place I felt most at home with, like it was effortless, there was a flow which was, difficult to describe. So ever since then, I used to be with Pragati at that time associating, and the program was called the Empowered Trainer. And I re-christened it at that time from Empowered Trainer to Inspiring Facilitator. So the whole domain of facilitation came alive. And then as I moved on from Pragati, this was the central red thread that I saw of my work, to really work with other fellow travelers, facilitators. And I came across this book. In fact, it was gifted to me at XLRI, called The Tao of Leadership, which really inspires the title of this work that I'm doing, the Tao of Facilitation, and now recently the Tao of Loving. One of my dear friends who was deeply touched by the work, Chandrasekhar, in his brochure actually gave this name Tao of Facilitation, and it suddenly, struck me quite a chord inside me, and I asked him, can I use this title? And so the Tao of Facilitation was born. And the rest is history.